2 weeks ago, I started trying to write what-if videos for Season 14, with a lot of different concepts. Given that the season had a fair amount of filler episodes, there were a lot of times where we could ask, but what if that hadn't happened? For example, what if Daya and Orion had actually stayed eliminated? What if the Queens had stayed divided into 2 teams and merged at the top 8, which would be a Snatch Game episode? What if Kornbread hadn't got injured? What if the Daytona Wind episode had had a bottom 2? What if Bosco hadn't been saved? What if Willow hadn't been saved because Angeria was called save first? We've been doing it this way for ages now. Don't switch it up now that your favorite queen benefits from it. And so on. Pretty much every single time, every single scenario would become too confusing to figure out, or I'd have to take too many liberties when doing the video after the exact same episode every time. Now, can you guess which episode that is? Well, before I say which episode it is, I just want to give a special shout out to my new supporters on Patreon, Sharon and Bjørn. Did I say that right? Sharon's actually been here for a little over a week, but I've been too busy with real life stuff to check Patreon, so giving you a shout out now is totally my fault and I'm sorry. So thank you both for joining and thank you everyone for supporting me. The episode in question sees one queen depart from the season, which in turn, as I realized, actually messed up the rest of the season. So much so that I think it actually made the season worse storytelling wise and probably even competition-wise. And that's why I titled this video, Who is the most important queen of Season 14 for Season 14? Now, Jackvid did a video with a similar idea of a defining moment for a season in a way, with his Naomi Smalls Acid Betty Season 8 video. So, before I did start writing this video, I asked for his permission. You know, if a creator makes a certain type of a video, I'm not going to replicate that. Yes, I'm always here for people sharing their opinions, I'm always open to that, but I wouldn't feel right doing it without talking to him first. He gave me his blessing, so that's why we're doing it here and now and today. So, who is the most important queen of Season 14 for Season 14? Well, my idea that I will be trying to explain throughout the video is that it's Kornbread. Now pause. I know what some comments might say, that this video is just me doing damage control because of something that was said in one of my latest videos. Firstly, I got the idea for this video almost 2 weeks ago, but I had real life obligations and only now got around to writing it. For context, my friend was guessing runway categories, it was the JLo runway category, she saw Willow first and thought 2000s. Then when she saw Kornbread, she wasn't sure, so as a joke, I did a play on words and said 2,000 pounds maybe. That was all that happened. After receiving some feedback for those 2 seconds of a 16+ minute video, where people said that I was fat shaming Kornbread, I did do some self-reflection, as anybody should do in this situation. No, my intention was not to hurt anybody, or to make fun of Kornbread for her body, her size, or anything of the sort. It was a simple play on words that was taken as malice. However, I also know that impact goes further than intent, so if I hurt or offended any of my viewers, I'm sorry about it. It was never my intention to fat shame Kornbread because I didn't do that, or anybody really. In the past, I've criticized Drag Race for their mistreatment of bigger queens, such as in the cheerleading challenge or in any design challenge where they don't provide them with proper mannequins, enough fabric, or anything similar. So, again, it was nothing but a play on words. People pointing out that that joke was a little too much, you know, that apologies for you. However, then there were comments accusing me of racism and transphobia, with no examples given whatsoever. They were just vague accusations as always, and I realized that the majority of the people commenting only ever go by he said, she said, taking things out of the context and never actually looking at the context. For fuck's sake, we later make a joke about slicing up children. You think there was a single comment about that? Of course there wasn't, because that was a clear joke, as was the play on words that got so many people mad. So, again, I'm sorry if I hurt anybody, that wasn't my intention in the slightest, and for the people that just went all SJW on me, go outside and touch some grass. Now, let's continue with the video. So, Just to recap, Kornbread started out season 14 on the top, being the winner of her group's first episode's challenge. Then she was safe in the ball, and then low for the teasers episode. During that episode, Kornbread got injured and had to be taken out of the competition. She has stated that she won't be back for season 15 and for any soon-to-be All-Star seasons. Now, Kornbread is not the first queen that got taken out of the competition. Willow was the first one, she was disqualified. Then we had Adore on All-Stars 2 who quit, we had Eureka on season 9 who also got injured, and Angeria on All-Stars 6 who also quit. We can only compare Kornbread's case to Eureka's, as they were the only two queens that were taken off the show due to injuries. However, I wouldn't say that Eureka was the most important queen of season 9. I think that had Eureka stayed, she might have reached the finale, or she would have been eliminated by Trinity right before the finale. Basically, Eureka came into her own on season 10, and then especially on All-Star 6. On the other hand, Kornbread leaving the season so soon messed up the storylines that the production had already set up with her there. First, I want to talk about her storyline with Jasmine. Kornbread pointed out to Jasmine that she talked too much and did not let other people speak. Kornbread was painted as the smart, experienced queen trying to help a younger, not so experienced queen. We saw something very similar to this and just as organic as this on season 10 with the Vixen and Aquaria, and a little bit of it, but maybe with the best iteration of it, on season 8 with Bob and Derek. Drag Race producers perpetuating the racist trope of a white character getting redemption through the help of a black character. Who would have thought? What makes Kornbread and Jasmine's dynamic interesting is that you can tell that there was true sisterhood behind Kornbread helping Jasmine, and Jasmine really trying her best to pay attention and listen to the other queens. Kornbread is painted as the hero in this instance, or sadly even like a secondary character to Jasmine's redemption story of an obnoxious villain that becomes a hero, who leaves the competition as a better person. Once Kornbread is taken off the season, Jasmine has a moment in Untucked of coming out as a trans woman and gets immediate support and guidance from Kerri. Given that Kerri was a non-factor in the season competition-wise, I have no doubts in my mind that this same conversation could have happened and could have been even better had Kornbread been there. However, because of this role that Kerri was going to have, she had to be given a spotlight after Kornbread had been taken out of the competition, and a fair amount of favoritism, and a save or two from elimination when needed. Once she helps Jasmine get her fulfillment, Kerri is off the show. After this, we get into the Daya versus Jasmine storyline that sometimes has Georges in there too, that had been brewing for a bit by that point in the season, where Jasmine is the hero and Daya is the villain. Jasmine leaves the show once she's fully accepted herself and finished her journey, and Daya stays as the villain that's pretty much always right. What could have been a Kornbread and Jasmine storyline became a Kornbread and Jasmine, Jasmine and Kerri, Jasmine and Daya featuring Georges, Daya and everyone's storyline. It's very possible that Kornbread would have also helped Daya not be so direct with her comments in the second half of the season, because let's remember, she pointed out something similar to Jasmine, and who brought that up to Daya? Yeah, it was Jasmine. Another storyline that we missed out on was the friendship between Willow and Kornbread. If we assume that Willow would still end up winning the season, and knowing that Willow and Kornbread developed a very strong bond on and after the season, I have no doubts in my mind that another big storyline of the season would have also been Kornbread and Willow. One of my issues with season 14 is that the top 5 queens barely had storylines between each other. Some did not have personal season-long story arcs. Bosco and Daya kinda had the most spotlight on them, but they were the clear losers in the finale, given that one was saved by the chocolate twist and the other was eliminated in her first episode. That leaves us with Angeria, Camden and Willow, who got crumbs basically. What's criminal is that there was a clear special bond between Angeria and Camden and Angeria and Willow that they just never really properly showed on the show. If anyone from WoW is watching this, please give me a show featuring Angeria, Camden and Willow, or pitch a girls trip movie with the 3 of them in the main roles. Please and thank you. With Kornbread staying, the winner of the season in Willow would have had at least one strong bond shown throughout the entirety of the competition. And maybe her winning move would have been beating Kornbread in a lip sync and thus eliminating her biggest ally. Either way, yes, with Kornbread being on the season, as I've just said, the storylines would have been more concise and more organic. What's more, Kornbread is the miscongeniality of the season. The queens that were on the show with her voted her as the miscongeniality. It was not the fans. She clearly had a great bond with everyone and left an impressive mark on the competitors. It's a shame we did not get to see that on the show. And that's it. That's the video. Now, I also wanted to have a section of this video dedicated to how Kornbread would have done in the competition. But that could be a separate video, don't you think? A what if video, that is. If you would like to see that, please do tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching.